From Washington, the McLaughlin Group, the American original. For over 3 decades, the sharpest minds, best sources, hardest talk.
Issue 1, Election Day. This coming Tuesday, November 4, the nation goes to the polls to choose our leaders, the most consequential privilege and obligation of American citizenship. This year, 36 seats of the 100 seats of the U.S. Senate will be contested. Winners will serve the 6-year term. 21 of these 36 seats are held by Democrats, 15 by Republicans. Control of the Senate is now vested in Democrats. To take control, the GOP must retain its 15 seats plus win 6 seats. According to conventional and McLaughlin Group wisdom and polling, the GOP will safely win 3 of these seats from the Democrats, the states of Montana, South Dakota, and West Virginia. That means a +3 pickup for the GOP, with 3 more seats needed to win the Senate. The 10 remaining races are cliffhangers, meaning it's anyone's game. 7 are Democratic, 3 are Republican. Let's begin with Alaska, incumbent Democrat Mark Begich versus Republican Dan Sullivan. Question, who will win in Alaska, Begich or Sullivan? Pat Buchanan.
Obama's too heavy a load for Begich to carry in red state Alaska. Sullivan's going to take that one going away.
Hello.
I think Begich can pull it out. His father was in the Congress before he's a well-known name in Alaska. By Alaska standards, Sullivan is a carpetbagger.
Clarence?
It's too close to call, but I'm betting that Begich, unfortunately, is going to lose it. Sullivan, well, he's had a number of bad turns in his campaign, and Sullivan's crept up on him.
Mort?
Yes, I think Begich wins as well. I just don't see how it can be pulled out by his opponent in any other way. It just isn't there.
Sullivan will win. His performance is still holding. So the group votes 4-1 Sullivan. Alaska goes Republican. Okay, Arkansas, incumbent Democrat Mark Pryor versus Republican Tim Cotton. Who's the winner, Pat?
The Republican's going to win this one, John. It looks like Pryor is really fading toward the end of the race, so I think that's a real Republican pickup.
Tim Cotton, Harvard grad, farmer, Iraq War veteran. Republicans going to be talking about him as a presidential candidate soon after he gets to Washington.
Clarence?
Cotton's got the momentum. He's going to get it.
Mort?
Yeah, I agree. I think Collins an easy winner in this one. It's going to be a pretty wide margin for that state.
Okay, McLaughlin says Cotton. The group votes 5-0 for Cotton. Arkansas goes Republican. Okay, Colorado incumbent Democrat Mark Udall versus Republican Cory Gardner. Pat?
Gardner is beginning to pull away, John, toward this last week of the campaign. I think Udall goes down in Colorado. It's another pickup for the Republicans.
Gardner's walked away from all his conservative positions. He still supports a federal personhood amendment, says he doesn't support it on the local level. The state votes entirely by mail. I think Udall still has a chance to pull it out, but it's tough.
Clarence?
The much vaunted Democratic ground game is going to help Udall here to pull it out.
What?
Yeah, I think Udall is too tied to Obama, frankly, to win the state, so I think his opponent's going to win.
McLaughlin says Gardner. Group votes 3-2 Gardner. Colorado goes Republican. Okay, Georgia. Democrat Michelle Nunn versus Republican David Perdue. Who wins Georgia? Pat?
Purdue, it's about dead even, John, but my feeling has been that if the Democrats are going to, in effect, pick up a seat, she's a non-incumbent. Miss Nunn is the one that's going to do it, and I had predicted she was going to win. If I could change it now, I would say it's a toss-up.
Perdue brags that he would be the only Fortune 500 member in the U.S. Senate if he wins. That's not a great credential this year. Michelle Nunn is a great candidate, daughter of Sam Nunn, a former senator, iconic figure in that state. She worked for the Points of Light Foundation. She's run a campaign right down the middle. I think she wins.
Clarence?
Nunn's got a great chance to win in comparison to other Democrats. If she loses, it's going to be a bad night for Democrats.
Mark?
Yeah, I think she's a wonderful campaigner, Michelle Nunn. As you say, she carries the Nunn name. So she's got a lot of name recognition, and I don't think it's going to be close.
McLaughlin says Perdue will pull it out. Group votes 4-1, Nunn. Georgia goes Democratic. Okay, Iowa. Democrat Bruce Braley versus Republican Joni Ernst. Braley or Ernst? Pat.
Joni Ernst is a hot ticket. Let me tell you, I mean, as a candidate, she's got pizzazz, she's got a big smile, she's got great ads. She's been a real comer. I think folks thought Iowa was really not within striking distance. I got to believe if it's a Republican night that Joni Ernst is going to be a winner, and she will be a sensation in this town if she comes here.
Helena.
She has managed to hold some very conservative positions, but at the same time reach out and appeal to moderates. And she smiles. She's likable. I think she wins, and you're right. She'll be on the stage with the Republican leaders whenever they have a chance to put her forward.
Clarence.
2 magic words for her: hog castrator. That was her ad that caught national attention, and she will come to Washington if she wins with that reputation ahead of her. So,
high calling.
I think she pulls it out. Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fairly unanimous. I think that this is going to be, she's a dynamic campaigner, and I think she's going to do very well.
Correct. McLaughlin says Joni Ernst. The group votes 5-0. Ernst. Iowa goes Republican. Pat. Kansas incumbent Republican Pat Roberts versus independent Greg Orman. Pat.
Well, I think if the Republicans are going to lose one, it's going to be Georgia or this one. And I have said I felt that Roberts, because he's not well off with the Tea Party folks, he's older. I thought he was going to lose, and I predicted he was going to lose. And so I'll stand by that the Democrats will take
Yeah, it's a good
chances.
history of your migration on this issue, Pat.
Well, I've migrated.
Give us all of that you can. You know, we've only got about 4 minutes. Helena.
Senator Roberts has been in Washington a long time, and he basically kind of bragged about the fact that he rented a Barcalounger back home in Kansas. Not having a real permanent residence in the state you represent is a fatal error. So I think the independent pulls it out, and it'll be wonderful to see the independent caucus, which is now 2, expanded to 3. They could be the power center in a divided Congress.
Clarence.
Yeah, I think Orman wins it. Independents are strong these days. The parties are, the brands are damaged, and in that state, the way this whole thing has come about, it'll work in his favor.
What?
Yeah, I don't think Orman's going to win, but I know Pat Roberts is definitely going to lose. You cannot you cannot win this particular state without a residence in the state. It just doesn't hold water.
Very cute there, Mort, the way you backed into that. McLaughlin says Orman. Group votes 4-1 Orman. Kansas goes for the independent. Okay, Kentucky. Incumbent Republican Mitch McConnell versus Democrat Allison Lundergan. Grimes. Pat.
Charisma wins it. McConnell's going to win it again, John. Look, he is very tough, very able. They're just not going to get that guy out of there. And when Miss Grimes, refused to say who she voted for in 2012,
that was,
I think it really hurt her. And Kentucky is really, it's a red state, so McConnell's coming back to lead the new majority.
McConnell is the Wile E. Coyote, but I just couldn't bear to give it to him. So I'm sticking with Allison Lundergan Grimes, and I'm thinking that she somehow can. I mean, they don't like McConnell in the state, and if the Senate goes Republican, it'll be a great consolation prize for Democrats if McConnell goes down.
Right, Ellen, vote with your heart, forget your head.
Right.
Well, I would have said Grimes myself if McConnell's approvals are terrible right now.
Exactly.
But you know, turnout is very important for Democrats. It's going to be hard to get people to turn out for a woman who would not say publicly that she voted for Barack Obama. I want everybody to know she did.
What?
I think McConnell's definitely going to win. I mean, he has delivered for the state. He's brought the bacon home, as we say. And if he's going to be the majority leader, they're not going to pass up that opportunity.
Right again, Mort. McLaughlin says McConnell. The group votes 4-1 McConnell. Kentucky stays Republican. Okay, Louisiana incumbent Democrat Mary Landrieu versus Republican Bill Cassidy. Pat.
I think Bill Cassidy's going to win. Mary Landrieu had a bad last week. She made a flaw. And this is red state, and I thought for a long time that she would be one of the ones who would survive. I think she's going to get beat by 5 points at least.
She made a flaw? F-L-O-O-R? Floor?
F-L-A-W.
F-L-A-W.
Right.
Helena.
I don't think either Cassidy or Landrieu is going to reach the 50% plus 1 threshold. It'll probably go into a runoff. And Mary Landrieu's been there before. She survived in her last race. She won in a December runoff. I think she does it again.
Clarence.
Landrieu has been in tight scrapes before. That was before Katrina. She's lost a number of her voters because of Katrina, but I'm still sticking with her. I say Landrieu.
I'm going to go with Cassidy. I think she has really exhausted her welcome in that state at this stage of the game. She's made a lot of mistakes. I don't think she survives it.
You think she's alligator bait?
Well, I've never thought of her in those terms, John, but if
McLaughlin says Cassidy. The group votes 3-2 Cassidy. Louisiana goes Republican. Okay, New Hampshire. Incumbent Democrat Jean Shaheen versus Republican Scott Brown.
Jean Shaheen is a very tough candidate. She is rooted in New Hampshire. She is the governor of New Hampshire, and she's fairly popular in New Hampshire. But I picked Scott Brown because I saw him really coming on, and he's an enormously attractive guy, and he does have some roots back there in New Hampshire. So I picked Scott Brown. But I will say this, John. People should watch New Hampshire on election night and the way that goes. If Scott Brown wins New Hampshire, it's going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats.
Elena.
And if Jean Shaheen wins New Hampshire, things are going to be looking better. She's popular in the state. He really is a carpetbagger. He ran in Massachusetts, lost the seat in Massachusetts, then he moves into New Hampshire. And in the last debate this weekend, he was asked about Sullivan County, I think one of 10 counties in New Hampshire. He had no idea where it was or what it was. Big gaffe at the end of the campaign.
The polls show it's 49% to 49%. Clarence.
That's right. Well, in brief, I think Shaheen pulls it out because she has got the roots and Brown doesn't.
I agree. I think Shaheen pulls it out. It's going to be a very close call, but I think she's basically going to pull through.
Two errors here. McLaughlin says Brown will pull it off in a come-from-behind victory. The group votes 3-2 Shaheen. New Hampshire stays Democratic. Okay, North Carolina, incumbent Democrat Kay Hagan versus Republican Tom Tillis. Pat.
Tom Tillis has had $25 million in attack ads dumped on his head. Normally, I'm surprised he's not in jail after that kind of stuff. But I honestly think he is coming on at the end of this week, and I think Kay Hagan has run into some problems. She's a very tough competitor. She's a tough candidate. But I think that North Carolina is going to go with Tillis, put him in the United States Senate.
Well, Kay Hagan is the incumbent. She's had $30 million of attack ads dumped on her head beginning last year, and most of the polls she maintains a slight lead. So she's been consistent. I think she pulls it out.
Yeah, I think Kay Hagan has the advantage of a lot of high emotions on the left in North Carolina. They're fired up, and we'll see now. If they don't, again, it's going to be a real long night for Democrats if she doesn't pull that out.
Long night. Okay, McLaughlin says Tillis. Excuse me, Mark.
I think Kay Hagan loses. I think she's just basically lost her welcome in the state as well.
Right on the money, Mort, once again, and you certainly know what money is. Okay, McLaughlin says Tillis. Group votes 3-2 Tillis. North Carolina goes Republican. Okay, tally time. Republicans win 9 new seats. Yeah. Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Iowa, Louisiana, Montana, North Carolina, South Dakota, and West Virginia. But Republicans also lose 2 seats, Georgia and Kansas, for a net plus Republican gain of 7 seats. What does that mean? It means the 6-seat win threshold has been passed, and a majority of the group on this platform declare that the U.S. Senate, you going to say something?
48 seats for the Democrats afterwards and 52 for the Republicans. They've got the Senate, John.
Correct. Buchanan interrupted my flow here, but I'm going to resume my flow. The U.S. House stays Republican after the election day. You understand?
Republicans will gain in the House.
Right.
Well, we haven't done the House yet.
Yeah. Which is what always happens most of the time in midterm elections. No big surprise.
Right.